Hello guys, welcome to Thermomix Adventures. Take two today because the sound didn't work earlier. Today I'm making a massive amount of cupcakes. I'm making over 70 cupcakes for a bunch of kids to come ice tomorrow. I'm going to teach them how to ice using amazing buttercream that I've already whipped up, ready to go. All right, and straight off Cookidoo. How good is Cookidoo that you can make foolproof recipes and know that they're going to turn out the way you need them to. So now I'm going to make some awesome cupcakes. I've just made version 1. No sound, sorry. So I'm back to show you number 2, and then later on I'm doing a number 3. I won't record that one unless something goes wrong this time. And then I'm going to make a gluten-free batch as well. So this is straight off Cookidoo. It is, I've put it under my week. It is called Basic Vanilla Cupcakes. Super easy. I'm literally going to follow them to a T bar one swap. Okay, I'm going to be really particular because I know this works. I do also have some tips around making the perfect cupcakes. So hang on for a second, let's get this mixed up and I'll actually show you how. So preheat the oven to 180, line 2 12-hole muffin trays with cupcake liners. Now, I've got them here. They've got the first batch. They've just come out the oven. I'll show you later. I think it's too hot, but something that I learned in my practice run the other day was that silicone does not work very well for this because the silicone doesn't get hot. These are in the rose gold tray from the mix shop. They get incredibly hot. I'm just wondering if I can put oven mitts on to show you. And so they cook from the outside in. If you're cooking with silicone, it's only got a chance to cook from the top down and you end up with odd shapes. So let me I've put oven mitts on so I can show you. But this is the rose gold trays from the mix shop. That is that first batch out of the oven literally only a minute or two ago. And it holds its heat really, really fast, which is why it's really good because it's cooking all sides and you get then a really nice top. For what I want today, I want quite flattish tops because I am going to pump the icing on top. Yeah, you don't want it to be too mounded, you don't want it too far out to the sides, you want it just nearly flat with the cupcake liner, which is what we get from this recipe. Okay, first up is white sugar. I particularly went and bought white sugar for this recipe, mainly also so that I can exactly tell people what's in it if they ask. Okay, being that it's for a large crowd of people, I need to know exactly what's in it. You'll see in a moment as well, my vanilla isn't my vanilla, unfortunately. By the way, say hi if you're watching on today. If you are watching replays on YouTube, hit the subscribe button so that you're up to date. I appreciate your support over there. Those of you on Facebook, of course, say hi, engage, so that Facebook knows you want to see these. Okay, on with the lid. We're going to make icing sugar. Nothing better than fresh homemade icing sugar. Here is not smoke, it is dust, sugar dust. And this blew me away 11 years ago when I first saw a Thermomix in action, a TM31, and I signed up to get my Thermomix and become a consultant. Absolutely blew me away. It still does. It just has me in awe. Most often these days we make nut flours. That's predominantly nut and seed flours. We don't do sugar too often. We try not to have much of this. So yeah. Okay, 250 grams of softened butter. It says unsalted. If you've got salted, probably not, I'm just going to grab a little bit more, probably not an issue because later on it asks for a pinch of salt and you could just omit the pinch of salt in changeover for it. There we go. As I said, I'm trying to keep this quite similar to what it's actually asking for, trying not to change it too much. Okay, next up. And my butter has been out particularly all morning for this recipe and for the buttercream. 10 seconds speed forward, it's going to crumb it in the bottom. I don't know about you, but I would not even attempt this without a Thermomix. This would be disastrous and a waste of ingredients if I was doing this pre-Thermomix days. I am not a good baker. My attention span, I do not do it well. I did not have the patience for things like creaming with a mixer and a bowl. So it's just not something I would even have attempted pre-Thermomix days. Not to mention the cleanup and stuff. You know, when oh, by the way, told you I had to know what's in the food. Thankfully it was on sale. But normally, I think this is the first time you guys have ever seen me ever I think it's the first time I've actually bought the stuff since I've had a Thermomix. But I've got to know what's in the food. So I did on my practice run use my homemade stuff, but this time I've got to know the ingredients in it, okay? Buttermilk, this is the swap. You don't need buttermilk. I haven't made cheese this week. So I've actually had a really busy week. I haven't had a chance to come on with you guys much this week for that reason. Lots of demos, which has been exciting and fun. Amazing offers on from Thermomix at the moment, hence the reason it's so busy. Buying a Thermomix, you're getting, if you live in Australia, a cutter, a blade cover peeler, and a mix shop voucher, which is a pretty sweet deal. So if you are thinking about getting a TM6, like now's the time to do it. Okay, you're getting a whole lot of stuff for free, which is cool. All right, 4 eggs, pre-cracked those, ready to go. There's 2 more ingredients left, I think. 3 more ingredients. 430 grams of self-raising flour. So as I said, I need to know exactly what's in it. So I'm not going to make my own. Often you've seen me use baking powder to do that. I'm literally, I want to stick to this recipe. I know it works. Many people have rated it to say it works. So if you don't detour off it, you're not going to be disappointed. It's going to be amazing. I do have a tip though to make them nice and flat cupcakes. So hang tight for a second. 1 teaspoon of baking powder and then some salt. My little teaspoon measurement got broken the other day. It's only half. I've lost my tablespoon off the end. It snapped. A pinch of salt. And then lid on. We've got 2 mixes to go. Now, this is gluten filled, right? So when it comes to gluten does not like to be stressed. I won't wait for this to mix. Gluten doesn't like to be stressed. It likes to be relaxed. And when we've beaten it with the Thermomix or in anything, even if you're doing this traditional method, okay, with a hand beater or whatever like that, it doesn't like to be used straight away. A bit like your breads. You know, when you make bread, you let it rest. You let that gluten relax. You want to do the same thing, can you believe it, with cakes and cupcakes that are gluten filled. What it does is it lets that gluten de-stress, which means you end up with a nicer cupcake. If you've ever had cupcakes or cakes that come off the side, to show you what's happening in there. If you've ever had cupcakes that come off the side and shrink incredibly, it's because that gluten wasn't relaxed. If you've ever ended up with cupcakes that are funny on top, uneven sides and stuff, the gluten hasn't relaxed, okay? Or it's been overbeaten. Now, this to me isn't quite mixed. And that scares me a little bit, but I'm not going to rebeat it with the Thermomix more. I'm going to get my spatula in, and when I turn it over, I'll actually see that the bottom is mixed. It's just that little bit of powdery stuff on the top that wasn't quite incorporated. Don't be tempted in this recipe to go back and remix. There is nothing worse than an overbeaten muffin, because they come out the oven in ways you don't want them to look, okay? They have lopsided sides and out the side, but we're done. Okay, so next up, ordinarily, if I hadn't made a little muck up, oh, they're cool enough to take out. Okay, come with me, let's do this together. So it's not too hot. I mean, look how easy they come out. Like, look at that. I was hoping it would be cool enough that I can remove these. I'm taking them out now so that they don't sweat in there and make the patty cake liners sweaty. I actually intentionally bought the silver foil ones because I think the white ones have a tendency sometimes to sweat and then go gooey, like they get slimy. So this batch will make 24, which is what it made last time, okay? Got my tray out. Bear with me for one moment while I put my little liners in my tray, okay? First go round, I had this all sorted and ready to go, but because these have come out the oven and didn't quite go right the first way round, the sound didn't work, okay? If you wondered what didn't go right, my mic wasn't on. So after a cooking class the other night where I presented beautiful bayo buns, if you want that recording, let me know. I'll chase it down for you. The sound obviously wasn't linked up quite right. So silver cupcake liners, just out of Woolworths in the baking section. Okay, what are they called? Patty pans. Okay, patty pans. All right, so I'm going to swing my camera around the back here so you guys can see what I'm going to do. Now, this is one of my most favorite tools. It's not designed for what we're about to use it for. Oh, oh. Come on, camera. It's not designed exactly for what we're going to use it for, but can I show you? Stay there. But it makes life so much easier. So let's get this up on the bench. It has a little squeezy thing, and the squeezy thing drops it out. I often use it for things like meatballs for the same reason. It just lets it drop out and it's even. Okay, so let's grab some mix out. I know that I don't want to completely fill it. Where's that camera? There. And then I can carefully put it in knowing that it's not going to make a big mess. Did you see that? Yep, perfect. So it's mostly full. It's about 80% full, but it's not completely full. If you completely fill them, you won't get your 24 out of it, and you'll end up with more mountainous style ones, which you don't particularly necessarily want if you're doing like I am, where we're piping with buttercream. By the way, this is not in the mix shop, okay? Talking about the mix shop, if you haven't yet, do sign up for your My Mix rewards. You get a $15 joining voucher to spend. And then for every dollar you spend, you actually get a point, and 150 points equals a $10 mix shop gift card. And I think they've got 6 months on those gift cards or vouchers, whatever they're called. So I know your welcome one definitely has 6 months on it. Please do check in your profile. I believe you can check that your consultant's name's there and then it populates it. Please do me a favor and check my name is displayed before you hit that checkout button each time. It costs you no different, but I get a little bonus from Thermomix for it. So thank you for those of you who do that and you check and you make sure that my name's shown. Okay, 12 are done. Give them a tap. Tapping flattens them slightly. I do like to get a teaspoon, which I don't have on me, and actually take the big divots out of it. So I often get, I might use the butter knife. The knife I used to slice the butter, it's not a butter knife. And I just try and take the heavy peaks off it so that it's a little bit flatter. It does flatten in the oven significantly. So you'll notice with the other ones, I'll show you them in a second. But you'll notice there's no lumps on the top. That's because you kind of flatten them out. You can share it around a bit, but this next tip is what I was talking about earlier. Now I'm going to leave this on the bench for 5 to 10 minutes. That allows that gluten to relax. It means I'll get really nice muffins and not shrunken muffins where it's pulled in significantly, okay? So that's ready to go. Obviously, I've got a second lot to do the rest of the mix. They're about, for reference, 1 centimetre down on the sides. That will end up with a muffin that looks like that. Okay, so there's a little overhang, not much, okay? But it's flat on top, which is perfect then for piping. The piping, I'm going to come back later, and I won't show you too much on piping later, but I will talk a bit about things that you can do with your piping. So some hints and tips. I grabbed this 100 pack of piping bags from the mix shop. Great way to spend your $15 welcome gift card. And also the piping set that has the stars in it. I think I've got in my special drawer of tricks. There's this one. And then you've got the little star rings, which is what I'm using with the group tomorrow. I'm going to use all the star rings. There's, I think, 3 in there. I've got another couple of different type of ones as well from the mix shop that have fancy ends. Are they called? No, I can't remember. But they're like a little ball on the end. You'll have to look in the mix shop. But I'm going to come back later and show you some tips for piping because I combine these. So there's a really neat way of doing piping, and I do have a video that I can show you with more info as well, where you actually combine these, and it means less washing up, more variations in what you can pipe easily. And you guys who've watched me for a long time, you know ease is what I need in my life. So thanks for hanging in and joining me today for take 2 on the muffins. I've got to do a take 3, but I won't be filming it. I'm just going to make a 3rd batch, and then I'll make a gluten-free batch. But I hope you're taking away some tips for how easy it is to be able to confidently make food with a Thermomix. I know without it, there's no way I would have put up my hand to do this because it would have seemed overwhelming. I would have wasted ingredients. I would have done too many goes. But first go round, I got an awesome 24 batch. Second go round, it's easy. Third time, it'll be an absolute breeze. Same with the buttercream, like foolproof, like absolutely insanely foolproof. Just follow exactly what Cookidoo says. So I'm going to get these in the oven, 180 degrees, 18 minutes was the first batch. I anticipate this batch will be exactly the same. Definitely the tray makes a difference. Rose gold or a heavy based style tray will definitely be what you need in this recipe. Just because I tested with silicone and it doesn't work, you get really funky shapes. Okay, but remember to gluten, anything with flour, rest those muffins before they go in the oven. Let them relax so you get a really nice finish on them, and don't overmix your dough or your batter in this case. But I hope you've taken hints and tips today. Let me know if I can support you or anyone you know with a Thermomix. You can find me over there on the QR code. If you do have questions about how to get a Thermomix, or even any recipe questions, okay, I don't mind you reaching out and saying, hey, I'm making this, help. Okay, these are a straight swap for gluten-free self-raising if you want. So you can certainly do that as well, which is what I'll do in the final batch for that small batch of gluten-free. But otherwise, guys, thanks for joining me today. Remember to share, like, subscribe, do all the things with these videos. I do appreciate your support in that. But take care, and I'll see you in the next video soon. Bye for now.